Welcome back to the Lincoln Journal-Star Prep Extra video. I'm Alec McChesney, of course, with Ron Powell. Big week 8 here, starting with some games in Lincoln, Ron.
Yeah, Thursday night we have Northeast and Bellevue East. That starts off the weekend. Then we got 2 games at Seacrest on Friday. We have Omaha Bryan and Lincoln North Star starting off at 4:30, and then the 8 o'clock game's an interesting one. Millard West against Lincoln East. Of course, Millard West is coming off that big double overtime win over Grand Island that moved them to number 4 in the rankings. They have a good offense. Tristan Gomes passed for 259 yards in that game against Grand Island, and they didn't even play with their leading rusher, Jackson Wright, and he's expected to be back for the East game. And of course, East has a great defense. They have played well all season, and when their defense is on, they could stay with anybody. Right. So that'll be an interesting test for the Spartan defense in that one.
And obviously you got a couple different Lincoln games, week 8, only 1 week left in the season after that. Kind of time to start making your point to make the playoffs here.
Right. Another big game in town Friday night is Lincoln High and Kearney. And of course, Kearney lost in a last-minute field goal to Southwest at Lincoln High's home field because that game got moved because of weather issues. And now they're going to come back there and play Lincoln High. Okay. So that'll be a big test for the Lynx. They have not really been pushed all that much since the Pius game, which was week 4. So,
and outside of Lincoln, what are you looking at in terms of big games? Or you still have a couple more in Lincoln? What are you looking at for big games?
Well, you know, the fact that Southwest beat Kearney last week, right. They're now 6-1 going out to 6-1 Grand Island.
That's a big one. And
that is a big one. That's a big one to see where Southwest is. Obviously, they passed the test with Kearney, but, you know, Grand Island beat Kearney 46-0.
And you still don't have Southwest in the rankings. You have them as a contender right now.
Not quite yet. They lost to number 10 Southeast. That's their only loss. So Grand Island, you know, Cole Evans, their quarterback, you know, very important part of that team, went down with an ankle injury in the first quarter of that game against Millard West. So, you know, his availability is uncertain right now for Friday night.
And then if you look outside, obviously that Bellevue West game against Omaha North looks to be one of intrigue, right?
Yeah, you know, obviously Bellevue West has 2 great offensive players in Xavier Betts, Jay Ducker, you know, a couple of juniors that I know Nebraska is looking at. Nebraska's already offered Betts, the wide receiver, and Ducker, the running back. He's already made a visit to Notre Dame, right. So he's obviously a great player. But the intriguing part of this game is going to be Bellevue West's run defense. They have a very, very good defensive front, and going against Xander Gray, the Super State 240-pound running back from Omaha North, that's going to be an interesting battle to see who wins that out.
Right. Outside of those top games, obviously Class A, what are you looking at? Class B, a couple other games people should look forward to this weekend.
You know, you've got York going to Seward. Okay. And, you know, Seward has the one loss to Northwest. They haven't had a shot at one of these top 4 teams in Class B yet, which is number 1 McCook, number 2 Omaha Skutt, number 3 Scotts Bluff, and of course 4 York, who's the defending state champion. Right. So this is kind of their chance to see where they compare with those top 4 teams. Great passing game for Seward. That's going to test the York secondary. But, you know, York already passed the test against Northwest, who has a great passing attack. So really, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
I think it's been 3 weeks in a row now. We've kind of mentioned York as that team who had 2 losses earlier in the season, but it's picking up steam as we go forward here to the end of the year.
Yeah, very much so. And of course, Omaha Skutt, they kind of established themselves as one of those top teams, beating Waverly on Friday night.
Right. Anything else, those Class C1 games, or anything to look forward to Class C2?
Yeah, you know, Columbus Lakeview once again has a very tough game this Friday. Right. You know, they're going to Wahoo. A few weeks ago they went to Bishop Neumann. They've played Pierce and they've played Columbus Scotus in this stretch of games. So they're pretty battle tested right now. And of course, Wahoo picked up the big win over their crosstown rival Bishop Neumann on Friday night.
2 weeks left. Final thoughts? What do you got?
Well, you know, districts are winding to a close here, and you know, next week is the week you really want to look at those district standings and those wild card points to kind of see who the district champions are going to be and who's in line for those remaining wild card spots for the playoff spots.
Absolutely. For Ron Powell, I'm Alec McChesney. Have a great night.
or day or.